The Butterflies are flying in formation, Holly. Lisa Mattingly, Dee Cantner, and Clark Stevens honored by the committee as the officiating crew for tonight. And Maya Moore gets the first shot and the first miss.
Louisville opened man-to-man, but in the bag of tricks that Jeff Walz has, I think you'll see multiple defenses trying to make Connecticut think the game tonight.
Bird trying to back down her slider counterpart. And we've got a tie-up. Bird has that big body as a point guard and has the advantage over just about everybody. That time she took Renee Montgomery into the lane. Couldn't hit the shot, but that's a strategy they have used before.
She is a two-guard converted to a lead guard. She's got a substantial backyard. I asked her about it. She said, ain't nothing wrong with a little thunder, Mike.
Bingham, who was the second leading scorer on this club, next to McCautry. And here's Bird again, trying to use that frame to get inside. Tipped, and an offensive rebound to Bingham, a new 30 seconds. McCautry from the outside. That has been the problem for Angel McCautry in this tournament. She has been horrible from three-point range, but she hits the first one.
What makes you think Louisville has a chance is they advance to this point without a great game from Angel yet.
Tiffany Hayes tries one from outside and misses, but the follow is there for Maya Moore. The sophomore has her first to the Wade Trophy winner.
When you have less talent, which Louisville does in Connecticut, you have got to get every 50-50 basketball. You've got to make some breaks happen for you.
Bird, obviously the focus of their early offense. It's the third time in a row they have run in isolation. This one is tipped out of bounds by McCautry, but Connecticut will keep the ball.
Angel McCautry was neither highly recruited nor highly productive as a freshman, Mike, but she worked and she worked, and with hyper athleticism and relentless competitive spirit has made herself a basketball player.
And an All-American. Moore guarded by McCautry. Moore so quick with that release, can't hit it. Charles offensive rebound. No, Charles fights for the ball, knocked it out of bounds, and it's out to Louisville.
For Coach Auriemma, you can see the advantage they have on the backboards and with their athleticism up front. Maya Moore and Tina Charles in the two matchups have proven a handful for Louisville.
Rucker, the starting center, has not been a powerful rebounder. They have gotten more out of Keisha Hines coming off the bench.
Keisha Hines is a player they would like to start, but she's uncomfortable in that role. So Jeff Walz allows her to start on the bench, watch for a few minutes, and then gets her into the ballgame.
Tried to draw the offensive foul, did Montgomery, no call. Here they come. Nice pass ahead to Moore, and she is fouled. The reach in on Tiara Stevens.
Connecticut will put a ton of pressure on you in the transition game. If you're going to stop a Gino Auriemma coach team, the first thing you must do is compete on the glass and do your best to keep them out of their running game.
One of the frustrating things about coaching is coming up with a strategy and see it executed, but it doesn't work in the end. And that's what they're doing right now, trying to back Renee Montgomery down with Desiree Bird. She's had one good look after another and hasn't been able to convert.
Their presence seems a little bit different. They staggered under the lights and stage of the national semifinal. I know she's missing shots, Bird, but their demeanor, their presence is better.
Until then, as Steven took her eye off the ball and lost it, and that will get Becky Burke, number 11, into the ball game, and she has had quite a tournament. She's a really good outside shooter. She is a really good defender as well.
Well, she was never known as a stopper in high school or in her brief career in college, but in the last two games, she has shut down two tremendous players.
A lot of hustle. Montgomery way out, missed it badly. Charles offensive rebound though, and Montgomery threw it away on the way back in. McCautry on the run, pull up 15-footer.
The only time Connecticut gets in trouble, Mike, is when they try to play too fast. This is one of the most pleasing offensive games you'll see, but when they rush, they can look horrible.
Montgomery from 17, she knocks that one down, and UConn regains the lead at 6-5. And Gino Auriemma up off the bench imploring his team to play harder defense. Burke knocked away, nearly stolen. Bird recovers. McCaughtry, nice pass to Rucker.
Connecticut playing all man-to-man. And in prior matchups, they've played other defenses. But Coach Auriemma said to shoot around, we're not playing any zone tonight.
Maya Moore got inside, but Becky Burke was there to steal the pass.
You can see Connecticut's just rushing. They're trying to score too quickly.
It's a team that leads the nation in scoring, but there's a difference between playing quickly and rushing. Bingham for three. Too strong. McCaughtry, offensive rebound. Follow, no. Follow by Bingham. Bodies flying.
Well, so far, it's not Cinderella losing the slipper, Mike. That's Maya Moore.
That's right.
On Goliath.
Here's the double team as Louisville trying to make something happen on defense. Green fouled in the basket. Kalena Green with a nice move and a tough angle hit the shot and drew the foul on top of it.
The scary prospect, if you're Gino Auriemma, is you know that Louisville has advanced to this point without a game-changing performance from Angel McCaughtry. She's off to a terrific start, and Louisville looks strong. She can score it, she can pass it, and when she's comfortable, her team's comfortable.
Jeff Walz has been in Louisville in 2 years. Last year, he took them to their first Sweet 16. Now he has them in the championship final in 2 years, and he is 60-14. How good is that?
Well, you know what struck me about that pre-game speech? His demeanor. That is not the presence of a guy who's been in charge for 2 years. And I'm a firm believer that your team is very aware of how its head coach is feeling. These are 18 to 22-year-old kids. If you're calm, they're calm.
Showed a lot of confidence. Bingham with a reverse, Tina Charles with a rebound. 5 boards already for Charles. Montgomery for three. In and out. Tip no good. Maya Moore with a rebound and a fresh 30 for the Huskies.
Maya Moore will make a play or two each game that athletically she may be the only woman in the country who can make it.
Montgomery trying to take Bird and bounced it off her foot. That's the third UConn turnover. And Renee Montgomery is the best they have. 195 assists, 95 turnovers. Here's a steal, but out of bounds. Good effort by Tiffany Hayes. Just couldn't maintain her balance at the last moment. Now here's Keisha Hines, 45, checking in for Rucker. She's had an impact in the tournament. Really solid rebound. Shot clock down to 6. McCaughtry really forced that one. No one underneath but Huskies. That's an ideal possession, though, Mike. Every time they could take it inside of 10 seconds and use tempo to help them stay close to Connecticut, the better off they are. As long as the score remains close, that's a very effective strategy. Nice feed by Moore. Somehow got it in there, and Tina Charles finished. Tina Charles, she only struggles, Mike, when she tries to do things too quickly. The first time she touched it, she tried to shoot it too fast. It went over the other side of the basket. That time, a nice, relaxed pace about Tina. McCaughtry going to find a defender wherever she goes, and this is going to be a foul. And Tina Charles is one of the 2 best centers in the country. I think Jane Appel at Stanford has got to be on that list, but seals the defender high. The pass is on the money. Gino Auriemma says she has the potential to be the best center in the world every time she takes the court. Sometimes she is, sometimes she isn't. Now that reflects attitude to me. And when she's aggressive and assertive, she is the best. McCaughtry knocks down both free throws. We are tied for the 3rd time at 11. Made shots or made free throws allows Louisville to press, Mike, and Connecticut, the first time they met in January in the first half, struggled with this pressure. So that's huge. Every time they put the ball in the basket, they can set it up. Montgomery having a tough time early, turns it over again. That's 4 for UConn. Hines, no threat to shoot from there. Gives it off to Bird, who will try. Misses a 17-footer, and another rebound for Tina Charles, who just dominating the glass. Moore, 1-on-4, gives it to Montgomery for 3, and her shot's been way off. Bird with a big-time block out underneath. The ball was knocked out of bounds and out to the Huskies, and I think they're going to call Bird for the foul. That will be her second. She rode somebody out of there by about 15 feet, and Jeff Walz doesn't like that call.
She's working on Tina Charles. I think it's the arm that she's being called for, trying to hold Tina Charles off with her arm.
Well, she's 5'9". She's got to hold her off with something. Moore tries to bank. No. UConn ice cold from the floor to start this game. 4 for 12 in their early field goal numbers. Hines. Here comes Hayes for Connecticut. Moore. Good head fake. Then a great pass. Very unselfish play by Maya Moore, the Wade Trophy winner. And Tina Charles has consecutive layups.
They transition from one end of the floor so quickly, and their front court is incredibly fast. You simply must sprint foul line to foul line and get back.
Desiree Bird remains on the court with 2 personal fouls. It's a danger zone for her. They could ill afford to lose her. And McCautry with a tough shot and drained it. 9 for McCautry already, Doris.
Yeah, Gino Auriemma said, listen, if McCautry gets 25 and everybody else gets 15, we will lose. McCautry's doing her part. Can they get contributions elsewhere?
It's going to be tough to find 15 from everybody else. Moore with an offensive rebound out to Montgomery. Hayes drives. Offensive foul on Tiffany Hayes. That's her first.
It's been the support players like Hines, like Burke, that have stepped up and made plays for Jeff Walz. And he said, listen, I've got 6 freshmen. I just need 2 a night. It doesn't matter which 2, just give me 2.
Bird being overplayed by Montgomery, trying to force her to go to her right. Or force her to go to her left. She's overplaying her so much. McCautry on fire. She has 11 of Louisville's 15.
She has faced every junk defense known to man. Connecticut electing to go 1 defender. Kalena Green, she's not been up to it to this point.
Moore just glides wherever she wants to go. She's got such great speed. Doesn't even look like there's effort there. Of course there is. And Montgomery reaches in, knocks it away from Bird, who was looking to Jeff Walz to see what he wanted to run this trip down.
Angel McCautry got in the gym after her freshman season. Her freshman year, her coach said, you can't shoot it. She said, no one's going to tell me that, folks. 500 jump shots a day. Guess what? Kid can score it. And Maya Moore, flat the prettiest jumper in America right there, folks. Former Augusta winner Fred Couples told head coach Gino Auriemma that if he won the national championship tonight, he'd take him golfing for 3 days anywhere he wanted. He said he's going to Augusta.
Where else? Let's check in with Rebecca.
Well, Doris, you mentioned that Coach Walz wants to get the shot clock running down in the possession. Well, that's not the tempo Coach Auriemma wants to play. In the last huddle, he said, we got to start getting this game going. As you see, Connecticut now picking up in a full court press to try to get this game going. And after McCautry has 11, Tiffany Hayes now gets the defensive assignment.
And there's the steal ahead to Moore. McCautry got back, but not quite in time. And when Louisville was starting to initiate its offense, there was only 10 seconds left on the shot clock. You want to work the clock, but you can't run your offense with that little time left. Bingham slashes down the lane out to Burke. Really good outside shooter. Comes inside, knocks down the 2.
Okay, that's a freshman playing in the national championship, Mike. That's the first time she's touched the basketball. She's a 3-point shooter, but she wisely, understanding the defense closing, patiently takes a dribble to get a closer look. Terrific play.
Good ball movement to get a wide open shot, but Maya Moore can't hit it. And UConn has had some great looks from 3-point range. They simply haven't converted. 0 for 5. Bird tries to get down the lane. Nice pass to Bingham. Can't hit the layup. Montgomery, the smallest player out there, has the rebound. Pull-up jumper. Got it.
Okay, this is danger time because right now nobody besides Angel is making shots. Somebody has got to step up and become another option for Louisville. McCautry 4-6. The rest of the team 3 for 12.
Bad pass. Picked off, and a terrific job by Tiffany Hayes, who lost her balance and kept the dribble alive. Green really likes to pound that dribble. Charles. Moore. Boy, would that have been something. What a tremendous tip, and she kept it alive. That's the athleticism of the best player in the country.
Yeah, I said it 1 or 2 times a game. She's going to give you a wow moment. Just couldn't get that one home.
Trying to get past Bingham. Goes to the baseline. Fadeaway jumper wouldn't go. Well, she's made some spectacular moves and not been able to pay them off. Bird against Montgomery. The value of made shots, if Connecticut's going to press, they have to do it to be able to get into that pressure defense.
Well, to Rebecca's point, to try to get into that pressure, they go ahead and extend a little bit. They're going to make their own breaks. Maya gets a piece of it, then sprints end to end. Doesn't need 2 hands on the basketball, folks. This is 6'1". This is the most athletic player in the country. And this is just her kind of laying around, waiting her opportunities. Gets a piece of it.
Last foul was on Hayes. Penetration by Monique Reed, who checks in for the first time. Can't hit the shot. Montgomery kicks it up to Moore. Nice crossover, and then a beautiful pass inside for the easy layup. Tina Charles has been the beneficiary of 3 perfect passes that left her all alone.
Great teams, generally speaking, and Coach Auriemma talks a lot about this. Need great point guards. Renee Montgomery's pace is exceptional.
McCautry for 3. She's made everything so far tonight. Not that one. Again, nice job by Montgomery. At 5'7", she can rebound with the big ones. That pass nearly tipped away, but Charles again ends up with a layup. McCautry got a finger on it, but no more.
Got to get a timeout. Absolutely, Jeff Walls. Good call here.
The momentum swings toward UConn with 7:52 to go in the first half. They're up by a half dozen. Their biggest lead, Doris.
Renee Montgomery sets the pace for this team. And I don't care if it's on the bus, in a drill, or on the lines, on the basketball floor. She delivers an easy deuce to her counterpart, Tina Charles. And the athleticism of Tina has been a factor in each of the matchups with Louisville and continues to be tonight, Mike.
And McCautry, who was the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, got lost that time. And on the last replay you saw, Charles was open, and it cost him. Tomorrow, the NBA on ESPN at 7 Eastern. The Portland Trailblazers take on the Spurs. Then at 9:30, the Utah Jazz against the Mavericks. That's also on ESPN360.com. It looked, Doris, like at the beginning of this game that the team that was nervous was UConn and not Louisville.
They have done a remarkable job all season long, Connecticut, of staying on task, of living in the present moment, of not focusing on the big picture, but rather the 40 minutes in front of them, Mike.
Holly Rowe, what do you have?
Well, during that quick timeout, Jeff Walls was incensed initially, but after he heard the explanation, he calmed down. His players were simply confused on who had 31. Monique Reed thought she was guarding 41, but that player that had just subbed in, there was confusion. They got it straightened out. He gave a big smile, slapped her on the butt. Well, she's a freshman. They're all straight now.
All right, thanks, Holly. Kalena Green was called for her second personal. Now both her and Tiffany Hayes have 2 for UConn.
It is Championship Tuesday here in St. Louis at the Women's Final Four. The march to the arch is just about complete, Mike Patrick. Let's take a look at the Home Depot coaching adjustment. For Connecticut, Rebecca Lobo told us coming out of the last break, they wanted to speed the tempo, so they come with a little bit of extended pressure. They're going to double team, and the middle of the floor is going to be wide open. Somebody needs to aggressively step through. Louisville panics. Don't panic against Connecticut. They're long, they're athletic, and they will make you pay for your mistakes.
And right now, they have built a 6-point lead. Tina Charles off to a great start. 8 points, 8 rebounds here in the first half with 7:40 left.
First look at a zone by Connecticut. And are they just showing zone and maybe going man-to-man, trying to keep them off balance? We'll see how this develops. Nope, straight 2-3, a little aggressive.
Almost picked there. Bird trying to penetrate, has to force a 16-footer and made it anyway. Desiree Bird with her first bucket.
Bingham and McCautry have been the mainstays. They've been rock solid, folks. It's been Burke and Bird. They need to start playing for Louisville.
Montgomery guarded by Burke. Here comes the double team. She dribbled out of it. Montgomery left alone for 3. Instead goes to Moore. Nice head fake to get past McCautry, but she is ice cold from the floor. 3 out of 10 so far for the All-American. Blocked by Tina Charles. Monique Reed went down hard, and Jeff Walls didn't like that call. Charles again puts it in and draws a foul.
Mike, you want to talk about a coach who's got a great feel for the pulse of his team. He said to Tina Charles before the tournament began, he said, if you play like the best center in the country, nobody can touch us. Guess what? Tina Charles has answered that challenge in 5+ games. And if she continues to play like this and dominate, look out, folks, because she's fired up.
She is already within 2 rebounds of a double-double, and we have 6 minutes and 33 seconds to go in the first half. That's a 3-point play. Let's check in with Rebecca.
Well, guys, Coach Auriemma's demeanor on the sideline, especially in the timeouts, shows me how much he trusts this team. In the last huddle, very calm. So we're just going to have to grind this one out. We're used to winning by 20. We're just going to have to grind this one out. But very calm presence, Doris.
Huge, Rebecca. You played for the man. I think he's the best in the country because he's got the best package, Mike.
Burke. That'll get it close in a hurry. 26-22.
I'll tell you what, his counterpart is in his second year, but Jeff Walls, boy, pretty terrific coach in his own right.
Maya Moore ended up with a triple team, and Louisville nearly took it away from her. Montgomery, nice move on McCautry, goes inside, and McCautry caught her from behind.
Well, Becky Berg, as I said, in this run for Louisville, the support pieces have played huge, and this young lady has been as big as any, making shots. When she first arrived at Louisville, she didn't put any extra time in the gym, and that calm demeanor went by the wayside just for a second.
Montgomery hits a free throw, the 5'9" senior from St. Albans, West Virginia. The number 6 all-time scorer, number 4 all-time in threes, number 3 all-time in assists. She has had a magnificent career.
Now beyond that, Mike, you get the sense from Connecticut staff that they desperately want to see Renee Montgomery go out with a national championship. That speaks volumes about what they think of the kid.
Burke again, trying to ride her 3-point shooting skills. Doesn't hit this one, and Montgomery trying to push it. She'll try one. Long rebound to UCONN. Green with it. Maya Moore got it inside again. What an unselfish play, an excellent pass, and 13 points for the junior center, Tina Charles.
That was a 50-50 ball, and
Yes,
that's what I'm talking about. If you're Louisville, that long rebound, you've got to sprint your backside and get into the corner and take that one away.
30-22. McCautry passed on a 3. Drives to the baseline. McCautry again, double teamed and fouled.
Now, Tina Charles has taken more heat than any other player in Connecticut history. Maybe 5-0, our counterpart Rebecca Lobo knows a little bit about what she's been through with Coach Auriemma, but she stepped up to the challenge of playing to the level that he saw in her.
Tina Charles picked up that last foul. She's not getting any heat tonight. McCaughtry with a miss. Bingham with a tip. Bingham with another tip.
Contributions from other players will help keep this team close. There's one by Bingham, one by Burke, and another one by Bird.
30-24. Louisville trying to ratchet up the pressure on defense. Montgomery wide open. Finally got one. Renee Montgomery is one of the best three-point shooters in Connecticut history. She's made 4th all-time on the three-point shooting list, and she increases the lead to 9.
They worked almost exclusively the hour they had this morning, Mike, on Louisville's pressure, and that's why they understood they would face it, and face it as much as Louisville could put it on.
McCaughtry down the lane with a left hand, can't hit it. Montgomery coming back the other way, 4 on 3. She pulls up. Boy, nice screen out in there, and the ball's lost out of bounds. It'll be to Louisville. Monique Reed did a great job. It has been the Tina Charles show so far for #1 ranked UConn.
I'm the leader of the crowd, and my game is really slick. I'm unstoppable. Save your pig for tomorrow when I smash it like a ball in the club on the news. I'll be rocking like a rock star. Unstoppable.
Well, maybe every one of these games she hasn't played like the best player in America, but in the tournament, she has averaged 17 points a game, and she is averaging 10 rebounds a game. When you average a double-double playing the best teams left in the country, you have reached superstar status. And she's got another one tonight. 13 points and 9 boards in the first half.
He's challenged her in the past to get a double-double in the first half. The rest of her teammates were tight when they stepped between the lines tonight. And Tina Charles has bailed them out here in the first half.
Louisville needs to get McCaughtry going again. She's hit a little cold streak. Missed that one. Offensive rebound to the Cardinals. McCaughtry, 11 points in the first 8 minutes. Last 7, she has not scored. .319 and counting first half. Bird watching the shot clock wind down. It's at 10 now. McCaughtry baseline. No. Charles with a rebound. She's fouled by Bingham. That'll be 1 on the outstanding rebounder from Louisville.
Now, this game is all about tempo. Connecticut wants it fast. Jeff Walz would like to use those possessions just like he did. The thing is, you have to beat Villanova in 1985 and shoot almost 70% if you're going to play that tempo.
Maya Moore, a runner, no. Boy, Louisville is very fortunate that Maya Moore has been cold from the floor because she has had some great looks and unable to knock him down. She has hit only 3 out of 11 field goal tries.
Yeah, her and Renee have really looked a little bit tight or like they're pressing.
Bird again trying to get penetration. No. Got her own rebound. Great hustle by Bird. Follow won't go. And Charles with another rebound. There's her double-double. Now she has 11 boards in the first half alone. Gino will be thrilled with that. And Kylie McLaren just cleared out some space in the lane. They're going to call a foul on Burke, I think, but Kylie McLaren got away with one. This will put them in the 1-and-1. Thursday at 5 Eastern on ESPN2 HD. The Frozen Four gets underway in D.C. Bemidji State and Miami of Ohio face off in the first of the night's 2 semifinals. For live stats and game recaps from all rounds of every NCAA championship, go to NCAA.com, the home for all 88 NCAA championships. McLaren, who is from Washington, D.C., certainly familiar with the Verizon Center where the Frozen Four will be held. Hits her first, missed the second. It's danger time now for Louisville. They're down by double digits at 34-24.
They could use an and one. They're not a terrific three-point shooting team. They've taken 200 less than their opponents, so they're not a team that can get back in it with that shot.
Bingham with Charles on her, trying to drive, has it knocked away and swiped by Montgomery. 2 on 3, Montgomery will take it herself. Now it's a dozen.
She does a terrific job in the open floor. If she sees one defender, she goes right at that defender's body, and she's athletic enough to adjust her body in midair. She says, when my eyes are big, we're big.
Bingham with a miss. The follow blocked by Tina Charles. Charles fighting for the rebound. Blocks another one. Tina Charles waiting for Monique Reed to put it up, blocked twice.
Now, Jeff Walls mentioned one Connecticut player, and it was surprisingly not Renee, and it wasn't Maya. It was Tina Charles, and here's why. Twice in the pipes, she says no.
10 to shoot. This is going to be a holding call on Maya Moore before the inbound. That's her first. And that will reset the shot clock at 30. Bird trying to inbound, has to go with the deep throw to Reed. Psychologically, if you're Louisville, this team has beaten you badly twice. Now you're down by double digits. You have to start to worry, don't you?
I think so. I don't think there's any question. If there's any way you can get this thing to maybe 8, you feel terrific about yourself because it becomes a possession ball game. And possession ball games are one of Jeff Walls' strengths.
Montgomery is called for a foul on the follow. And that means Reed will be able to shoot a 1-and-1. She's a 67% shooter out of Louisville. Hits the first, she'll get another.
This is actually very similar to the first matchup these two teams played in Stores in January. It was close throughout much of the first half. And then the second half, it was a blowout UConn.
McCautry knocks it out of bounds. You just wonder about Louisville's firepower and their ability to come back from double digits. Do they have that burst? You know UConn does.
UConn doesn't have to outplay you for 40 minutes. They can spurt you 10-zip and then play you even from there on out.
Moore will draw another foul from McCautry on that pretty hesitation move.
Connecticut has won 5 national championships on the strength of their defense. Look at Maya Moore working against Angel McCautry. You want to limit a score, prevent touches, or make her catch it at 30 feet. Then she becomes a non-factor. Maya Moore just staying in front, trying to challenge opportunities.
One of the first things you notice about Maya Moore, if Gino Auriemma calls her over to the bench from wherever she is, she sprints directly to where he is. I mean sprints.
It's a lot of things that make a program special. And Sherry Cole talked before the national semifinal about championship behavior. And she said that the program I look to is Connecticut because they display that kind of behavior. Who's first on and off the floor? Who sprints to their teammates when they hit the deck? You see the Villanova men do that. The North Carolina men do that.
Our congratulations to the Heels, by the way, finishing that championship season last night. Bingham goes with the left hand, another rebound to Charles. 12 boards in the first half for Tina Charles. And Gino Auriemma wants to talk to his club about the last 25.1 seconds in the half. There's 22 on the shot clock.
Desiree Bird, this is just very good personnel management by Jeff Walls. She's got 2 fouls, 25 seconds. You're on the defensive end of the floor. Let's get her out, and so we can play the second 20 minutes with her being aggressive and assertive.
Montgomery's going to wait till about 10 on the shot clock to initiate the offense. Six to shoot. Inside to Charles. She was the second alternative. They were looking for Maya Moore, then looped it to her. Steven at the buzzer.
That's why you use your timeout, because you're going to make sure you get the look you want and execute the play. A little frustration right there by Jeff Walls.
A close game most of the way as Tina Charles had a brilliant first half. They extended to 14. Here's Holly.
Well, Coach, you told us earlier in the day you didn't have someone to check Tina Charles. What can you do against her?
Well, you know what? She